Yeah, it started. You can sing.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, let's sing an Independence Day song. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day for all Indians. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day for all Indians. We are Indians bold and free. We are Indians brave and bright. We are Indians strong and safe. We are proud to be the Indian. We are Indians bold and free. We are Indians brave and bright. We are Indians strong and safe. We are proud to be the Indian. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence
Your network is
Your voice is breaking.
not clear. So your internet is not clear.
Day.
Your voice is not very clear. But I heard the first part of the song and I loved it.
Okay. Shall we repeat? Needed.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we repeat, beta? Shall we repeat? Is it clear?
Yes, Auntie, now it's clear.
Shall we repeat?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay. Then come. One more time you see. Okay? Last. Come. Take the flag and sit. Hi.
Hi everybody, let's sing an Independence Day song. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day for all Indians. Happy Independence Day. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day for all. Brave and bright, we are Indian strong and safe. We are proud to be the Indian brave and bright. We are Indian strong and safe. We are proud to be the Indian. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day for all Indians. Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day, Happy Independence Day for all Indians. Thank you. Happy Independence Day. Bye bye.
Okay, Rishita. Rishita? Okay. Okay.
It's okay now.
Thank you, Akka.
Thank you, Uncle.
Welcome. Who wants to go next? Vicky?
Okay. Okay. My name is Shanmuka. Today I am telling a story. The story title is The Lion and the Deer. One day, a lion lives in a den. He saw a tiny little baby deer and he wants to eat the deer. And the deer was then the deer see the lion's face and run. The lion also stand up and run too. And deer was caught by in a sticky mud, and the lion wants to get the deer, but sticky mud would take him to down. He was getting frightened, but he have an idea. He throw a log and jump into the log and try to catch the deer. But the deer was cleverly she crossed this stinky mud. But the lion did not cross it. And the lion needs help. Help! Help! Then the deer came to the lion and helped. Why did you help me? He said. Animals help. Thank you.
Nice.
Thanks. Now it's your turn.
Who wants to go next?
Raja.
I forgot your both names. The ones from Rudula Sanapala account. Can you tell me your names?
What?
Those
raised his
who
hand.
raised the hand. I was just asking their names. I forgot their names. Just a minute. Are you two talking something? Anybody, does anybody want to narrate the story now?
పోయింది నాకు రావట్లేదు అది
Are you two fighting? Anybody is narrating the story? Anybody want to go now?
I think Radha.
She's raising her hand.
Okay, she does.
I forgot your both names. Can you tell me your names?
My name is Dhruvan. My name is Srinika.
Okay. Either of you telling the story?
Yes.
Which one? Which one of you?
I will tell the bird who has two beaks.
Oh, narrate your story then.
Once upon a time, there lived two birds with two eyes, two necks, two beaks, and one body. First, The first bee saw it a divine fruit, so he ate it. And the second bee said, "Can I have half of it?" But the first bee said, "No." The second bee said, "Give me a little piece." But he did not ever give it. One day, the second bird teach the first bird a lesson. He saw a poisonous fruit, so he ate it, and the first bee said, "Don't eat it." So the second bee said, "You you will not die." He said, he said, and the first bee said, "No, we both will die." He said, but he ate it and they both died. Moral of the story is holding grudges is not good for you.
Nice.
Sir Joe wants to tell a story.
Now Aditya
What?
wants to tell now.
Can I tell a story?
Dhruvan, na?
Sure.
Yes. Yes, Akka.
Yeah, continue.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dhruvan Chanakya. Today, I am going to tell a story about the sparrows and the kingfisher. Once upon a time, a big tree was home to a host of sparrows. The tree was next to a small river with many fishes. A kingfisher came to the river every day and caught fishes. Sitting on a tree branch, a little sparrow was sitting on a tree branch, watching the kingfisher catching a fish. She felt like she could thought she taught herself to dive into the river and catch a fish, but that didn't like to fly around here and there looking for seeds and grains. She felt like diving into the river and catching fish. Once, the, the little sparrow asked a question to her friends. Why can't we dive into the river and catch fishes like the kingfisher? One of the one of the sparrows said, "We are sparrows. We cannot dive into the river like kingfishers." But but the but the king but the sparrow thought that they were scared of water, and he was not. So he went to the river and gently kept one wing inside the water. She felt like it was cool. She was enjoying herself touching the water. The next day, she flew up and dived into the river with a high speed, but she lost her control in the air. Splash! One of her wings broke while diving into the river. She was she was ba- she was covered with bandages, and she saw the other sparrows so flying into the sky happily ever after. The moral of the story is imitating. Uh, if you make ideas without thinking, could be very dangerous.
Nice story. And Aditya, narrating the story today. Okay, so shall I go next?
You are the next now.
Huh?
You are the next.
Okay. I am telling a story written by Roald Dahl called The Witches.
Okay, go on.
So there is a young little boy around 9 years old. His grandmother is a Norwegian and she knows a lot about witches. In fairy tales, whenever there are witches, witches are wearing a tall hat on their head, carrying a magic wand around and wearing and have a big spot on their face somewhere and all. But remember this, witches always look like normal, ordinary women. Here are some differences between normal, ordinary women and witches. Now, witches are always bald. They don't have any hair. They wear wigs on their head. A witch never comes out of her house without wearing shoes. And you know why? It's not because she's afraid of getting her feet dirty. It is because she has no fingers on her legs. She has no toes. The whole part of her foot is merged as one, like it's tied up. And witch never comes out of house without wearing gloves because her nails don't grow straight like ours. They grow like claws in curved shape. They come like this, not like this, like this. So she's always wearing gloves. Now there are a lot of stories about witches capturing children. Witches hate children. Children stink to witches. The witches' secret, all witches have a secret ambition. And that secret ambition is to kill each and every child on earth. There is one head to all the witches in all of the world. And that particular witch was called the Grand High Witch. Now, the little boy we were talking about, his grandmother told him everything about how to spot a witch. Witches generally make some...
వస్తావా రావా నువ్వు మీటింగ్కి?
Ricky, you're on unmute.
రే అదే ఏంట్రా?
Anyway, the little boy's grandmother told him everything about how to spot a witch. The most important thing about spotting a witch is the witch saliva is not transparent like ours. It is blue in color. Yes, blue. Sometimes if you were lucky when the witch smiled at you, she smiled. If she was a witch, you could see a slight bluish shade between her teeth, like here. because her saliva is blue. One day, when this little boy was playing in the garden, a woman came to him wearing long gloves and wearing pointy shoes, and he saw a little bit of blue on her teeth. And she said, "My dear child, I'll buy you some chocolate." He recognized her to be a witch at once and ran off. Then, one day, the little boy's father got the transfer to England. So the little boy's whole family, him, his father, his mother, and his grandmother, were going by car to London. Sorry, England. Were going by car to England. On the way, there was a big accident, and the boy's mother and father died in the accident. The boy and his grandmother went back to Norway. A few days, they lived in their house in Norway, crying most nights. And then a police came to their house and said, "Madam, your son left a will. In that will, he said that you and his son go back to England and live there." Then when grandma told the little boy about this, he said, "But grandma, I don't want to go back to England. I want to stay here in Norway." Grandma said, "I don't want to go either, but your father said we should. But anyway, here's the bright point. There are a lot more witches in Norway than in England. So they moved back to England. After a few days, they went to live in a hotel. And there was a boy, another boy. I don't remember his name. He was such a greedy boy. The other one who was at the hotel. Whenever he was seen, he was always eating something. One time you'd pass by him, he was eating a chocolate bar. The next time you pass by him, he's eating a biscuit. The next time you see him, he's eating a burger or something. He's always eating. All the time he's eating. One day, our little boy, who was also living in the hotel, saw a sign, "Do not enter. Meeting going on. Board." This little boy got very curious and he went into that room. Though the board particularly said, "Do not enter," he went into the room. Inside, he saw a lot of women, only women. Then the little boy Ronald, "Oh no, I didn't bath for like 7 days. the women in the room couldn't smell him at all. And then one lady, much taller than the rest of the women in the room, got up on the stage. She said, "Hello all. Here we meet again." And she smiled. They saw there was the little boy saw there was a little bit of blue on her teeth. He thought, "Oh no, she's a witch." And the witch standing on the stage continued, "Welcome to our meeting of the preservation of child cruelty." Preservation of child cruelty. Yep. You heard that right. The witch on the stage said, "You may remove your gloves." Each and every single woman in the room removed her gloves, and she had curvy nails. And then the little boy thought, "Oh no, they are all witches." So he was a child, and witches hated all children. And now he was stuck in this room with so many witches. The witch on the stage continued, "You may remove your shoes." Each and every single woman kicked off her shoes. None of them had toes. Their toes were all tied up as one big toe. Then the witch on the stage said, "You may remove your wigs." Every single witch removed her wig. There was a bald head. But the witch on the stage did not remove her gloves, did not remove her wig, and did not remove her shoes till now. And then the witch on the stage asked, "How many children have you been killing?" "I've been in this hotel since only today morning, and I have seen almost like 20 children already. Clearly you aren't killing enough children." All the witches began to stutter and stammer. But your grandness, we have been killing one child per month. Each one of us have been killing one child per month. We couldn't do better than that." The witch on the stage, who the little boy realized was the Grand High Witch, the queen of all the witches in the world, said, "One child per month ain't enough for me. I want all the children in London dead by next month." One witch cried out, "Oh, that is not possible." The Grand High Witch looked at the witch who said it. "What did he say?" she said. "Oh, your grandness, I was only saying that we couldn't possibly kill each and every child in England by next month." The Grand High Witch had approached the witch and said, "You dare to argue with me?" The witch said, No, I wasn't arguing with you. Trust me, I was just telling you my opinion." "There, you are arguing with me," she said. then the Grand High Witch cast a spell, and the witch who had tried to argue with her was burned to ashes. Now the little boy was frightened like in frightened. He was like, oh my God. So I am literally stuck in a room with 90 witches who, if they smelled me, would burn me to death. Great. So a long meeting was there. In that meeting, the Grand High Witch said, you are all slowpokes. Don't know how to work fast. But I thought of a way that you can kill many children in this single month. And then she held up a little bottle. She said, this is the delayed action mouse maker. Oh, what do we do with it? Your grandness? Cried all the witches as one. The Grand High Witch said, fools, don't even know that. Now do exactly as I say. Quit whatever jobs you do at this very moment. Go, all of you, go and buy sweet shops. Children here love sweets, I can see that. Now I saw a little boy who was eating on and on like a little pig. Whenever I saw him, he was eating. So I went to him and gave him a chocolate bar with the delayed action mouse maker in it. The reaction of the mouse maker will be shown exactly at 3:30. And I told the little boy to come here at 3:30. What's the time now? Oh, your grandness, it is only 3:29. Well, you shall hear banging on the door in 1 minute. And sure enough, in 1 minute, there was banging on the door. Open the door, lady! You're on the Screaming was coming from out of there. That somebody was banging on the door. Then the witches opened the door and said, come, my lad. And
What's that? Noise.
Huh?
What's that noise?
Nice.
Uh-huh. What's that sound?
Sound is coming from my side.
From this
In my story.
No. Okay, continue.
Then
Continue.
Then the boy who had banged the door, his name was Bruno. The Grand High Witch asked Bruno to come onto the stage with her. Bruno walked onto the stage nervously. He was very nervous. He didn't want to do it. But he'd do anything for 5 bars of chocolate. So he went onto the stage. Then the Grand High Witch caught him by his hand and said, look, my witches, look at this change. And sure enough, Bruno was this height Just imagine he was this height. Slowly his height started decreasing. Suddenly he was the size of a mouse. And then he started growing fur on his face. Then on his whole body. And then he became a mouse. Then he became a mouse. The grand high witch said, "Capture the mouse." Then all the witches tried to capture Bruno. But Bruno ran away. Being a mouse, he could he could go through the witch's fingers like this. Then the witches suddenly said, "Wait, I smell something. I think it's a child. I think there's a child in this room." Then they found the little boy. And the grand high witch said, "Oh, you dare to spy on me?" And then the grand high witch held the little boy's nose. What happens when your nose is held? You don't get breath. So you have to open your mouth to breathe. The little boy opened his mouth to breathe. And the grand high witch poured the delayed action mouse maker into his mouth. The little boy slowly shrunk until he was much more little and he became a mouse. And he ran away. Then the little boy went to his grandmother. Though he became a mouse, he could still talk. But if I became a mouse like that, my voice would be like, his voice was rather low volume, but it was just like human voice. Then the little boy went to his grandmother and explained everything to her. He went to his grandmother and he said, "The witches left me. They made me a mouse." His grandmother said, "Huh? Who are you? Talking mouse?" Then the little boy who became a mouse now explained everything very clearly. The witches poured delayed action mouse maker into my mouth. And so on, whatever happened, he explained. Then grandma thought, "Oh my god, so witches turned you into a mouse." Then, after a while, they came up with a plan. They thought, the grand high witch will have a bottle of delayed action mouse maker in her room. So why don't you just go to her room, get that bottle of delayed action mouse maker and pour it in the witch's food. Then they will all become mice. They did as was planned, but when the little boy had to put the mouse maker in the witch's food, when he went in, the kitchen staff weren't particularly friendly with the mouse. You know that. All the chefs and waiters attacked him with various things. The poor little mouse's tail got cut. A chef took a carving knife and right on the little mouse's tail, he cut off the tail. But still, the little mouse managed to put the delayed action mouse maker in the witch's foot, and he went back to his grandma. He said, "Grandma, I did it! I did it!" Or maybe I should say, then grandma said, "Congrats, well done." And then suddenly she stopped. "Where's your tail? You're bleeding." Then he said, "Oh no." And she tied a bandage to the little mouse's tail. And then they looked at the witches. The witches were eating their food. Suddenly, all the witches were screaming. And the witches started shrinking, and all the witches became mice. All the waiters started chasing those mice. Half of those mice were killed, and the rest escaped. But the little boy had to stay a mouse for the rest of his life. So grandma took him back to their house and bought a big doll house. In that there was a tiny little bathtub and there was a tiny house. So the little mouse started living in the doll house. Grandma even made a brush for him. She put some cloth onto a matchstick and gave it as a brush to him. And then the little mouse asked his grandmother, "But grandma, what about the rest of the witches throughout the world?" Grandma said, "Oh, don't you worry. We will go to every single country and we'll put the delayed action mouse maker in every single witch's soup or broth or whatever they eat. And then they shall all be turned into mice." Thank you. Aditya raised his
I want
hand.
to change. Actually, I want to say a story.
Yeah. Continue.
The story's name is Silence. Once upon a time, there lived a king's tailor. His name was Master Gaspar. Master Gaspar was a very famous and rich tailor. He was famous throughout the country. He was happy and everything. But one thing he didn't like. He didn't have any children. He wanted to pass his talent on to his children, but he didn't have any. So he called his nephew. His nephew's name is John. John was a good boy, but he was a very talkative fellow. He used to talk for necessary things and even unnecessary things. John or Master Gaspar did not like it at all. So one day, Master Gaspar's temper went away, and then he was very angry at John. He said to John, "John, you talk too much, and I'll only teach you if you get 6 golden coins. Now go." John was very sad, so he went to a jungle. He slept under a tree, and in the morning he woke up. It was in the winters. He also had a fire. But when he woke up, he saw a little man. John shouted, "Who are you?" The little man did not answer, but the little man gave John a very tight slap. John was very angry and was about to give the tiny man or the dwarf, a slap. But then only
The tiny dwarf turned into a massive giant. John was very scared, so he kept quiet and lowered his hand. In the night, when the night fell again, he saw, for his entertainment, he saw a cloth of a dwarf. He started stitching it. Then one dwarf was very happy because he stitched his cloth and gave him one golden coin. Like that, he stitched all the others and he got 6 golden coins. And the sixth dwarf, when John stitched the six dwarfs cloth, the dwarf said, "You can speak now." John was very scared. That's why he didn't speak. John still didn't speak. Then the dwarf turned into a person. We were also people 6 or 700 years ago. We also we were also like very talkative. Then, we but the king was very angry. That's why he cursed us. He was very angry about us, so he cursed us. Then we spent the rest of our lives as dwarfs. We we have been waiting for a long time. And the king also said that the curse can also be broken if a tailor boy stitches your cloth. But he should stitch your cloth in complete silence. Now, and until you came. But you were a very talkative boy, so we had to beat you. There was no other way to save ourselves. But now you can go to your uncle's home. John went with his 6 golden coins. He reached Master Gasper. Master Gasper was shocked. Not only that John gave him 6 golden coins, that he also worked when he was also worked in complete silence. When John grew up, he used to say to children that silence is a wonderful thing. Talk in your free time, but whenever you're working, be silent. The end.
That was a nice story. I think everybody is done with stories.
What now?
Everybody told the stories, so is anybody left? Is Lucky telling a story?
Yes, Lucky is Miss Lucky didn't tell the story.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Does he want to tell a story?
Tell Lucky.
Lucky, you want to tell a story?
No.
No? Any story is fine. A song? Anything. Okay. I'm stopping the recording then. I guess everybody is done.